welcome back to episode 4 of Phil Short's telecaster build. So the body blank has been taken out of the clamps, and as you can see, we've got a great big lump of tree. So that's all ready to go. The next thing to do, obviously that's been cleaned up a little bit. There was, as I suggested, a little bit of glue residue left on the top from the squeeze out, mainly where the clamps were sitting. Obviously you can't clean that out when the clamps are in the way. So it's been cleaned up, and I've checked it for level to make sure that it's flat on the top, which it is. And the next thing we need to do now is to stick the top to it. As you recall, Phil's got this stunning piece of flame maple which we're going to glue to the top of the guitar blank, and that will be the money shot. That will be the pretty bit on the top of the guitar. So that's marvellous. Let's have a little look and see how we're going to do that. So as you can see, I've taken the liberty of tracing the outline of the guitar, the Telecaster, onto the top wood, and also marked in the cavities, the pickup cavities, the neck pocket cavity, and the cavity that's going to receive the tremolo bridge. So what this does is it allows me, when I'm doing my glue up, to firstly, obviously we'll clamp around the outside edge with standard clamps, but it allows me also, because I know these points are safe because they're going to be routed away, I can put screws in to these points here, and that will give me extra clamping potential, particularly in the middle of the guitar where it's very difficult to get a clamp. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So the next phase is going to be back to the sticky stuff. A good coating of glue on the top of the body blank, offer up the top wood along our centre line, and quite simply get it all nice and tight, and get it screwed down. Alright, so the first thing I need to do is to re-establish my centre line. I'm very pleased to say that this body blank has gone together so well that I actually can't see it, which is stunning news. It does mean that my reference has disappeared, so we'll get the centre line drawn back in. That's more betterer. And then we'll offer the first side to that line. That's beautiful. Right, so the next step is to pre-drill the holes for my anchor screws. The maple would split if I put these screws straight into it. So we're just going to pre-drill them again. I'm very, very mindful at this point. Make sure that we're bang on the centre line. And we'll have one by there. That'll be alright. The rest of them I can get with the external clamps. Brilliant. Now the reason I put half of it on for a standing start is that it means I can offer the next side up and get it nice and tight. Something to kind of squeeze against. Screws now. So the second side I've pushed. Right, and just before we glue, just going to give it a bit of a rough up with some sandpaper.
Dust is already.
As I said in the previous video, that lifts the fibres. Wonderful. Right, all my clamps are to hand. Adhesion with the glue.
Two parts.
Also, there's a little bit of
my sticky
stuff just being caused around these holes.
Let's get glue in.
The thread of the screw pulled some
Yeah,
gunk
type
out.
on the original.
Just take those off. Make some pretty patterns, why not? Alright, tight bond goes off relatively quickly. You can actually take things out of the clamps within a few hours, provided you don't stress the joint, and it should be fine. But what that does mean is that you need to work relatively quickly. Something about haste and speed or something, what was the other saying? But don't panic, Captain Mandarin. Just work with reasonable pace and you should be good. You've probably got about 10-15 minutes to get the two pieces properly clamped up before things start going awry. As with the other glue jobs that we've done so far, make sure that you get it everywhere. You do not want dry bits of wood. Rather have too much than too little. Right, that looks pretty good. I'm going to use my special spreader just to make sure that I haven't missed any. I already feel it's starting to get a little bit tacky. Good gear though. Right, I reckon that's pretty good coverage. Wonderful. So now we've got these little screws sticking down. That also now gives us reference. We can't see the center line anymore, so we just find the locating pins, if you like. There we go. All in all, the screws help in all sorts of ways. Cool, that's good. Putting them about halfway through from a standing start, that allows, there we go, that allows me to just get it centered, and I'll tighten them down together so that just in case they skew, in case the plates screw under the pressure of the screws being put down too tightly. And basically, if they go in easily, you know you're in the pre-made holes. I dropped a screw, so there's
Another one that was hanging about. Right, so that's all of them in. Now we can gently take them up to pressure. Lovely. Right, two more. Now they're down in. I'd rather do this manually, this final little half a turn, quarter turn, eighth a turn, just because you don't want to end up putting too much pressure on, which obviously with an electric drill you are slightly out of control, at the mercy of the motor. So I know that I've got a good overall pressure because they all go like the same. And now comes every clamp in the box.
So that's all the clamps on. Let's
Big
pop this
clamps,
to one side and
small
get back to
clamps, some the size of your head.